Up next on Connections, the latest on efforts to find new mass transit funding and avoid massive service cuts and fare hikes. We're still counting down to a new Brown, an update on increasing capacity on CTA's Brown line. Floors so clean, they shine. We get positive feedback on recent efforts to clean the vehicles of the CTA. We'll introduce you to a special group of dedicated CTA workers at the Skokie Maintenance Shop. And Sweet 16, the number of years since Santa started taking the CTA. We'll tell you how you can experience the Chicago holiday tradition. The CTA, working hard to improve, committed to quality and its riders. Welcome to Connections. The CTA, delivering quality, affordable transit that links people, jobs, and communities. I'm Jean Sparrow. Welcome to Connections. It continues to be a roller coaster ride for the CTA and its customers. A short-term infusion of funds has once again delayed fare hikes and service cuts. But the key word here is delayed. The CTA will be forced to cut more than half of its bus routes if a long-term funding solution is not reached by January. It may look like blue skies, but the CTA is in the eye of the hurricane. November service reduction and fare increases are postponed, but the lack of a long-term funding solution is building into an even more ominous storm of fare hikes and service cuts.
We are still in a funding crisis, and the governor gave us sufficient money to get through the end of 2007. That's all he did.
So here it is, another doomsday deadline. Come January 20th, the CTA faces record fare hikes, the elimination of 81 of the CTA's 154 bus routes, the layoff of more than 2,400 employees.
It's very frustrating. It's very frustrating to our customers. It's very frustrating to the CTA to see mandate after mandate happen. It's forcing us to spend money in places we don't want to spend it. Our riders need to understand that the CTA has heart, that we care as an organization. The men and women of the CTA have fought very hard to ensure that we can balance our fiscal position so that we are not forced to turn to our riders with either fare increases or service cuts.
The CTA reduced administrative overhead costs by $38 million in the past few months. Its 17 labor unions reached agreement on an historic pension and health care reform package.
If 2007 sunsets without a transit funding solution, then the tremendous gains that we made in our pension and health care reform go away, and we go back to the bargaining table with our bargaining units.
To maintain current fare and service levels, the CTA needs an additional $158 million for 2008. The CTA is legally mandated to operate with a balanced budget.
So we have to maintain the current level of operating revenue, and since fares only cover less than 50% of our costs, then the rest is government subsidy. And so the only things that we control are our fares and our service.
The Illinois General Assembly controls state subsidies. It alone has the power to reverse what has been a 20-year decline in inflation-adjusted funding.
When we talk to legislative leaders, when we talk to rank and file members of the legislature, they're all supportive of mass transit. The challenge is, how does everyone come together on a compromise that leads to a long-term resolution to our funding issues?
All those buses are packed with children going to school. If they can't get to school and their parents don't have no means of transportation to get them to school, what are they supposed to do?
During the public hearings on the 2008 budget, customers let the CTA know how strongly they oppose service reductions and increased fares. They need to voice concerns to state lawmakers too. A viable mass transit system is not a luxury. It is a necessity for the economic and environmental health of the entire region.
If nothing comes through, I think the most compelling comparison that I can make is that we would have a bus system that was the size of the bus system in 1952 when the CTA took over all of the private bus lines. Think about that.
Still, the CTA must prepare itself and its customers for the worst-case scenario, while holding out hope for the best.
We are hopeful that in the coming weeks we will see a long-term solution from Springfield and that we can truly say that Doomsdays will be something in CTA's history.
For the latest on funding developments, go to the CTA's website, www.transitchicago.com. Two stations reopen, two stations closed for construction. It all adds up to progress as the Brown Line Capacity Expansion Project continues. The Montrose and Addison stations on the Brown Line reopened this month.
We're in front of the new Addison station here. The new station will feature an enlarged station house with new elevators to get you to the platform level. The platform will have 8-car platforms, wider stairs, as well as increased signage.
Montrose will boast the same amenities.
All the new stations, when they open, will be ADA compliant, meaning they'll be available to customers with disabilities. They all will either have elevators to each platform or ADA ramps up at our at-grade stations.
The opening of Montrose and Addison dovetails into the closing of Damon and Irving Park.
No two adjacent stations will be closed at the same time as it has been throughout the project, so that will continue with the new stations that are closed.
The CTA continues to work with local elected officials, community groups, and business leaders to soften the impact of construction.
So we meet monthly. Every third Tuesday of the month, we meet with the local elected officials and we talk about issues that come up, and CTA will do their best at that time to address them. And so this way we have a constant flow of communication with the community and with local elected officials.
The CTA also offers communication support to businesses in the immediate area of a closed station.
We offer free advertising if you are within a block of the Brown Line station, and we offer packages, timelines, just recognition on our internet system on our Brown Line website to say that businesses are open, please shop at these businesses.
Ads are placed on buses and trains in the Brown Line service area.
So when customers look up, when they get on the Brown Line train, they look up and they see, please support these Brown Line businesses.
Of course, there will always be inconveniences with a construction project of this size, but always keep in mind the payoff. For example, let's take a tour of the Damon station as it stands now. It's old and cramped and dimly lit. Paint is peeling, metal is rusting, and the stairs are the only option for reaching the platform. That's a real struggle for some. Then there's the announcement system. Quaint, but inefficient. Damon, like the stations that have gone before it, will be transformed. Bigger and brighter with increased train car capacity and access for all.
The first stations that we opened up on the at-grade portion of the Brown Line, Kimball, Kedzie, Francisco, and Rockwell, we received very favorable remarks about how those stations turned out. So we're hoping that we receive the same feedback as we continue to open new ones.
Look for the entire Brown Line Capacity Expansion Project to be wrapped up by the end of 2009. For a list of Brown Line businesses asking for your continued support during construction, go to CTABrownline.com. Just ahead on Connections, floors so clean and shiny, our customers are taking notice. So the CTA has priorities of being on time, safe, clean, and friendly. What are your priorities for transit?
Knowing where I'm going. Today, as an example, I'm in the middle of trying to get from point A to point B, and both points are unfamiliar to me, but I was hoping that taking the CTA, I could do it sooner. So I actually have in my hand a printout of the CTA instructions of how I'm getting from where I'm going.
My main thing, I want clean the train like everybody, right?
Probably that I get places on time, and that if there's delays that I'm aware of them. So like that there's announcements made or something like that that let me know that, okay, the train's going to be a few minutes late or earlier, whatever, because I use it a lot. So
I need to be able to depend, like with any other means of transportation, I need to be able to depend on whoever's getting me there to say, I'm going to get you there on a certain time and then to deliver on that.
I look forward to being here on time. Don't want to be delayed because my program starts at 12 noon. And then also the safety aspect of it.
Comfort, cleanliness, and time efficiency. You know, try to be on time and try to make it a good experience for the people who are paying.
Combining technology and teamwork while delivering dependable, affordable transit. I'm Jean Sparrow. Welcome to Connections. Efforts to improve appearance and cleanliness are getting noticed by you, the customers. Like this CTA rider who wrote, "I like the way they're keeping the trains clean and the floors shiny like a new penny." Well, that new shine reflects the CTA's renewed commitment to cleanliness. This is a Red Line Wow car. It's called a Wow car because that's what customers say when they step inside. They're literally floored by what they see.
The floors are a little shinier. Looks like they've been waxed. Yeah, it's gotten a lot better.
Floors, especially the floors. I see a difference, big difference.
You can see a difference. You can even see yourself reflected on these floors. And no, they're not wet, just extra shiny. The floors are coated with a new high gloss finish.
And what this coating does is actually bring the luster and the color back into the floor, and it also seals the floor. By sealing the floor, it helps us when we do our cleaning on the cars, our deep cleans or our mopping. It makes the dirt and the grime come up very easily, and it leaves a beautiful shine luster on the floor.
Here's a section of flooring with the coating next to a section without. The without sections have already been wiped from the red line. Other areas of the rail cars are also getting a thorough going over. Everything from light bulbs and fixtures to the grills over the air ducts. New equipment deep cleans the seats while cutting back dry time.
We apply a soap and bacterial agent to the seat, scrub the seat, and then what this machine does is applies water to it and sucks the water out of the seat.
Seat inserts are being totally replaced on the Red Line Wow cars.
And these seats, before we install them, the manufacturer is applying a antibacterial chemical and a Scotchgard product, which will actually protect the seat from getting dirty, from spills, stains, and also from odor.
It's looking good on the Red Line, but what about on the buses? The bus side of CTA is experimenting with new products and treatments to spiff up its interiors.
We've started doing some research and investigation on how to make the buses as clean or even better than the rail side of the business.
This is a bus version of WOW. Those in charge say they're still experimenting with new products and procedures.
We tried to create a WOW bus to give that same impression or appearance to the customer and give them the same experience of a wow. And though we aren't quite yet to the rails, we are trying harder, and we will catch up to them soon.
If you're sensing there's some competition between the rail side and the bus side of the CTA, you're correct. But it's a friendly competition, born out of pride of service. And ultimately, the customers are the winners. Here's another note from a Red Line rider named Sarah. It reads, "I just want to go on record thanking you for the nice, clean, shiny floors on the Red Line recently. We're all happy." Well, glad to hear it. And Sarah, thanks for taking the time to write. Still to come, reducing the time you wait at bus stops. Connections is now available on demand 24 hours a day.
You can now subscribe to the Connections Video podcast and automatically receive each month's program absolutely free. There are several ways to find us. Go to www.transitchicago.com and click on Connections. You can also go directly to the iTunes Music Store and search the words CTA Connections. You can either choose a specific episode for instant viewing, or you can subscribe once and automatically download new shows each month. Like all video podcasts, Connections can be viewed directly on your computer or laptop, or can be viewed on a portable device such as the Video iPod.
The word connection, a link or a spark that brings people together. I'm Jean Sparrow. Welcome to Connections.
The fable of the tortoise and the hare teaches us a valuable lesson. Too bad it's a lesson lost when it comes to mass transit. I mean, our riders prefer ASAP over ESOP. And that's why the Slow Zone Elimination project is zipping right along.
The Blue Line Slow Zone Elimination project hits another milestone. This summer, work was completed along more than 6,000 feet of track in the subway between Damon and Clark Lake. Eliminating slow zones there improved travel times by 4 minutes for riders. Through the end of the year, crews are replacing deteriorated rail ties, tie plates, and screws between Jefferson Park and Harlem, which will eliminate 25,000 feet of slow zones.
This phase will end in late December, and our customers will experience closures between Jefferson Park and Harlem on the weekends. We will have a bus service that will take them from Jefferson Park to Harlem and vice versa during that time.
We're working to make sure it's a minimal inconvenience. You'll see a lot of CTA people on the platform to assist customers and giving them information throughout the Blue Line so they'll know what is taking place here.
In the spring, crews will begin work from Harlem to O'Hare, which will eliminate 48,000 feet of slow zones. Work from Addison to Jefferson Park will follow and will eliminate more than 19,000 feet of slow zones. As work is completed, CTA will be able to lift slow zone restrictions currently in effect for trains traveling between O'Hare and Addison.
It will eventually lower the travel times as we approach the fall of 2008 from their high earlier this year of approximately an hour and 15 minutes to go from O'Hare to Clark and Lake down to just over 45 minutes.
There are more than 17 miles of track from O'Hare to Addison currently operating under slow zones. Trains operating on these sections are restricted to speeds ranging from 15 miles per hour to 35 miles per hour, significantly less than the 55 mile per hour speed trains should operate at between stations.
It's a huge stretch of track and will have make a tremendous difference in the travel times and comfort of our passengers.
Meanwhile, work also continues to eliminate the slow zones on the Red Line. You value your time, and so does the CTA. And that's why the CTA is working hard to reduce the amount of time you wait at the bus stop. Squeezing in a few extra minutes for work or relaxation. You'll have that luxury with the CTA's bus tracker system.
The idea behind Bus Tracker is to be able to provide information to customers and to our operations personnel about where all the buses are in real time and to get arrival estimates of when a bus is going to reach a particular stop.
Transmitters are installed on buses. Global positioning satellites track the transmitters. Information is relayed to the CTA's control center and to supervisors in the field. Customers get the information on internet-enabled computers or PDAs by going to ctabustracker.com.
We did a pilot last year on the number 20 Madison route. Now we're expanding it to all bus routes. The first garage that we're going to roll it out is 77th Garage, so it covers a lot of south side routes as well as some that go downtown.
All buses will eventually be equipped with Bus Tracker transmitters, but not until the system is fully tested and fine-tuned.
And then also make sure that it's accurate and reliable so when it's launched to the public, it's successful.
The Bus Tracker system will also tackle that annoying phenomenon known as bus bunching.
Up next, a skilled team that keeps the rail cars running.
That's enough. All right. I've got enough. Come on! Oh, you gotta be kidding me! What the heck?
Getting from here to there quickly, easily, and without breaking the bank. I'm Jean Sparrow. Welcome to Connections. Rail cars are the workhorses of the CTA fleet, and keeping those trains in prime working condition is the job of the skilled team at the Skokie Shop.
A lot of people that come through Skokie on tours, it's an eye-opening experience when they see the inner workings of what goes on and what it really takes to maintain a rail car fleet of this size.
The CTA has 1,190 revenue rail cars. Each car weighs 20,000 pounds and each has hundreds of components, which in turn contain even more components. The maintenance of these cars are entrusted to the more than 200 skilled craftsmen and women who work here.
Basically, Skokie Shop is involved with 7 different unions. We have painters, electricians, machinists, carpenters, welders. So they work on the things that they work on within their craft. They're very specialized in what they do. The rail equipment, the rail cars that we work on are very sophisticated piece of equipment. Have a lot of moving parts. We put on a lot of miles every day, serving our customers 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. There's a lot of wear and tear on the equipment, and we have to be foremost and forward in supplying the parts and equipment that they need to keep the trains running, to keep our customers happy and trains running on time.
This is the teardown area of the shop. Parts big and small are stripped, degreased, and inspected for flaws.
He's checking for fine line cracks that normally wouldn't be able to be seen by the human eye. It's a magnetic function that is performed on this with a fine dusting of magnetic material that will indent itself into any fine line cracks and identify that as being a crack.
Motors are stripped and rebuilt in this section of the shop. And not just engine motors. The motors that operate doors and other moving parts are worked on too. Nothing goes back onto the train and out for service until it's rigorously tested. A dyno machine tests engine motors at up to 2,500 RPMs.
Once the final assembly is done, it goes to the dyno. It's tested on the dyno, and if it's okay, it's ready for operation. There's another department that the motors go into. That's the truck department. Now that's the basic wheel assembly. The truck is the wheel assembly. So the motor goes onto the wheel axles, and that's what turns the axles.
It takes several weeks for the Skokie team to complete a total overhaul of a train car.
2 units we have behind of us, and the unit is basically 2 married pairs. Our 2200 series rail car, the silver car, is our oldest series rail car, which is vintage 1960s. The 2400 series car, which is the red and white and blue front end car, is our other overhaul car, which is vintage 1970s. Both these units are going through an extended life overhaul program based on the fact they've kind of reached their useful life based on FTA standards of 25 years. We're trying to keep them for an extra 5 to 7 years until we get our new rail cars in.
The new train cars being tested for CTA use differ from these cars in that these cars are DC propulsion.
New cars coming in are all AC propulsion, which is a complete change from what CTA has done in the past. They're going to be very sophisticated.
And they'll be the responsibility of the Skokie Shop.
All tracks lead to Skokie.
The original Skokie Shop was established back in 1926. It was completely rebuilt from the ground up and reopened back in 2000 as the state-of-the-art facility we just toured. What's that? Do you hear it? The happy sounds of holiday music mixed in with the clickety-clack of the tracks? It can only mean one thing: CTA's Holiday Train. thousands of tiny lights, one large fellow in red, and miles of smiles along the CTA's rapid transit tracks. It's the Holiday Train, coming soon to an L stop near you.
The Holiday Train is CTA's thank you to the community for the past year. 6 cars are decorated, plus the 7th car, which is the flat car, which is decorated. It has Santa and his sleigh, the reindeers, gingerbread house. It's a real festive holiday train.
This is the 16th year for the Holiday Train. It starts operation the weekend before Thanksgiving and continues its run through late December.
It will start before Thanksgiving, and our intention is to run it at least in one PM rush hour on every route, and then run it on the weekends on all the routes. It's standard fare.
The Holiday Train also delivers food baskets throughout the area.
This is something that the employees do on their own. In essence, we want to give back to the community. Every year we take up collection from our employees. They donate, we prepare holiday food baskets, and then deliver those holiday food baskets on the Holiday Train to various charitable organizations throughout the city.
For many families, the train is a holiday tradition. For others, it's a bright spot in an otherwise ordinary commute. It's guaranteed to lift the spirits of anyone who hops on board.
Join us on the train. It is a great time. I have never seen one customer get off that train in a bad mood.
The Holiday Train runs on several weekdays and Saturdays throughout November and December. You can get a detailed schedule at transitchicago.com. On an average weekday, the CTA provides 1.6 million rides, getting people where they need to go around Chicago and the 40 surrounding suburbs. If you want to hop aboard, here's how to get all the information you need. Online, go to www.transitchicago.com. There you can access bus and train schedules, system maps and brochures, and service updates. You can even use the Trip Planner. Enter where you want to start, where you want to go, and what time you plan to travel. The Trip Planner suggests the best route to take. Another option, make the connection by phone. Call 836-7000 from any local area code. Traveling in and around Chicago on the CTA saves you time and money. I'm Jean Sparrow. Welcome to Connections. You know, we're always looking for story ideas. Do you have a travel secret you'd like to share? How about a hidden Chicago gem that's served by the CTA? Give us a call at the Connections Hotline, 312-681-2812. Helping you make your connections. I'm Jean Sparrow. Thanks for watching.